YouTube, petey twofinger here. Check out this video. It's a Vice video. It is the crystal meth epidemic plaguing Fresno, California. Came out 3 days ago. It's got 1 million views. It's a good video. Now, from what I know, Fresno, if you're coming up north out of Mexico, you run into Fresno there. So there's this massive influx of immigrants that are kind of stuck there. It's like overpopulated with immigrants, and there's a meth plague there. So it's like a tent city in that town, and they've changed the law. So if you get caught with meth, you just get a little fine, a local ticket, and they don't even confiscate your meth. So it's out of control. It's rampant. It's a problem in Fresno, and they have a bus, a community bus, where they do a needle exchange, and then you hop up in the bus, and they will drain your abscess. They show the process done. What they're cutting, the adulterant that's in the methamphetamine, is something that your body cannot break down. So when you shoot that in there, it ends up this little black turd that's stuck in your body that causes a big abscess that's full of pus. So you go in there, because it'll kill you if this thing ruptures inside of you internally. They'll give you a local anesthetic and then use a scalpel to open it, drain everything out of there, and then try to work that nugget of black adulterant out of your body, patch you up, and get you back on your way to go do it again. So I don't want to comment and take a side politically on this. It's really sad what's happened with this community, these poor people. I know that there's a lot of political stuff going on, a lot of people. From my limited knowledge, I don't think a lot of people actually really know what's been going on, or situations like this, like in San Francisco, how there's a huge problem is fecal matter on the streets because there's so many homeless people. My mom traveled to Europe and went to Sweden, so immigration issues relating to rape and the no-go zones where the police can't go. What's transpired in Germany and in France, London, so all this stuff that as Americans we don't know. It's just like fighting and dialogue that doesn't include any real facts as what has happened in other places. So it's important for us as adults, if we're going to have a political discussion and take a side, to educate ourselves so we really kind of know what we're talking about. So that being said, check out this video. On a side note, there was some interesting thing about them transporting the meth where they'll mix it with water, put it in a truck's gasoline tank, and then put the diesel in there. And the diesel doesn't mix with the water, which has the meth in it. So it's a separate layer. On the top, it's all the diesel fuel, and on the bottom, it's the water with the meth. So the cops check, oh, it's diesel. Go on, you're good to go. And then they'll drive that to a lab. I guess they would siphon it into a container, which, you'd have like a clear hose on that with a valve, open it up, drain all the water, meth water out, and then as soon as you see the color change where the diesel's coming out, shut the valve off, take your meth water, mix that with some sort of solvent that breaks down real quickly, such as toluene or acetone. I don't know much about physics, but heat that up and let it evaporate, and then you're left with pure meth. So that's how they're moving it, which I thought was really fascinating. I love chemistry stuff like that. So it's a really well-made, informative video, and like I said, I think we owe it to ourselves if we're going to vote, to understand what has happened in other places that have adopted these types of policies. So that being said, check it out. Vice doing some great work again. Hats off to them. I really enjoy watching some of the stuff that they put out. Not all of it's for me. I'm also going to check out this Lords of Chaos movie. I watched that Queen movie. I know it wasn't factual. And the same thing with Lords of Chaos, is it's going to be non-factual. Now, I probably will watch that with the fast forward button going quite a bit, because I think there's a lot of bad nudity in it, like traumatizing shock stuff. But usually that's telegraphed and you can kind of fast forward that, you know. But Lords of Chaos, and it's interesting because Varg Vikernes, he's the guy, has a YouTube channel and he comments on it. And it's really cool because none of those bands, Mayhem, Dark Throne, or Bat 3 are the bands, maybe? I'm not sure, but all three of those bands, Hollywood asked them, can we use your music in this biopic that we're making? And they all said, go fuck yourself. And I think it's Val Kilmer's kid and the Home Alone guy, his son. I could be wrong, but the movie's called Lords of Chaos, and it's about the black metal scene, the origins of that in Norway, the church burnings, and there was a murder where there was two guys. They were both frontmen of bands, and some kind of hanky-panky between those guys that ended up with one of them dead. And that other guy ended up going to prison for that, and he's out now. So it's a fascinating story. Obviously, this is the Hollywood version of it. But yeah, Lords of Chaos, check that out. I believe it's out on DVD. Make sure you check out this Fresno story from Vice. So